Hello y'all. I guess I'll make another video for y'all today. I think today's Thursday. Happy Thursday. So I'm still in the recovering process. I do feel like I'm recovering a little bit, even if it is just baby steps. And this is going to be another one of those videos, and I don't know how long it'll be, so it might be short and it might be long, I don't know. But it's going to be another one of those videos where it's just me ranting probably and all over the place. And it might be just me being silent, I don't even know. But I figured I'd make a video for you guys just about everything like I did yesterday. I've already took out a couple bags of trash out to the trash bin today. It's humid again today. The sky's beautiful and clear, and sunny and hot. And yeah, so that's pretty much what the weather's like. I'm still, like I said, recovering, so I'm barely walking around, trying to force myself to walk around. My hair hydrated when I'm actually able to brush it out, because it's knotted up all over, fuzzy, knotted up, rat's nest. It's a mess for sure. I just haven't been able to brush it out yet. And I've already took a soaking bath today, this morning. It was actually this afternoon. But as soon as you come outside on days like this, you start sweating because of the humidity and stuff anyway, so you start stinking and smelling bad. So, oh well, it is what it is. And then, as you can see, my septic is full again. It's coming out in the yard in all kinds of places, and where it had been raining a few days before or whatever, there's some dampness to the yard and everything around here. But anyways, it's basically what it's like outside. And like I said, I took out a few bags of trash. Haven't checked the mail yet, but I don't want to walk over in my flip-flops and that goo and the septic and stuff. Especially right now where I'm feeling bad. I don't want to. I'm still in pain. I am having bowel movements. You know, I guess you could say I'm kind of having them regularly, but not really. The bleeding has stopped a whole lot. I'm still bleeding a little bit. I'm not straining as bad. I'm trying to take them Dulcolax or whatever still yet. I ran out of Tylenols for the pain, so I had to break open those ibuprofens the doctor prescribed me for the pain. So I'm starting to take those every 6 hours, one every 6 hours. So I'm on those now. And I'm basically not, I'm just now getting a little bit of an appetite back. But I'm not eating that much at all or drinking that much. I know I need to force myself to drink more because I'm going to get dehydrated if I don't. But I still don't have much of an appetite or thirst or nothing. It's real similar to how it was whenever I was going through the big C word and whenever I was going through chemo back in 2016, because I lost my appetite. And literally back then But I know I'm going to get my appetite back, so I don't want none of y'all to worry. Those who actually care about me and care about my channel and my family and my situation and stuff. But anyways, I'm just trying to describe it. Back whenever I was going through the big C word back then, after I had my first chemo, it was 13 days later from what I remember, and then my hair started falling out, and it hurt so bad. My head became so tender-headed, and it itched and it hurt so bad, and all my hair it started coming out in gobs, you know. And then I had my brother. Actually, I had my brother. I'll go ahead and give a shout out because this is going to be a long form video. Go ahead and give a shout out to my brother. He's in Letcher County Jail. His name is Jared Ryan Adams. Hello, hope you're doing good. Try to be positive. That's the way I think we're supposed to be anyways. I know it's hard. But anyways, and also his fellow inmates in cell block 121. I appreciate y'all who watch my videos, each and every one of y'all. Everybody who does watch my videos, even the trolls who troll me and leave comments. It still works the algorithm the way YouTube works and the systems work, so I appreciate y'all. But anyways, back to whenever before I was even diagnosed with, you know, the big C word and stuff in 2016, it was probably even a year before, or maybe close to a year before that I kind of knew something was up, and I was investigating it, you know, on Google, Google doctoring it, or whatever you want to call it, investigating it, because I had all these symptoms that just wasn't adding up or nothing. And every time I go to the doctor, they would be like, oh, you're crazy, oh, you're crazy, or whatever, you know. I don't know, I'll tell my full cancer story for a different day. I'm not in the mood to tell it today, it would take too long. And I don't want to put out that much bad energy. But anyways, so my hair's falling out right now, you guys. I haven't brushed it, and it's in gobs. But, so, anyways, I kind of had the feeling that I had it because all the symptoms I was having was pointing to it and stuff, you know, like I said, back in probably like 2015 or something. And I was like Googling it, Google doctoring things or whatever on the internet or whatever. And so I kind of had the feeling that I did, even though I was still being told no by the doctors and this and that and the other by the doctors or whatever. And so my brother was out back then, and he used to be a barber. He went to barber college after high school. When he graduated, he went to Lexington, Kentucky to barber college, and he became a barber. And so my hair was longer back then. It was probably at one of the longest points in my adult life that I let it to grow out to. It was halfway down, pretty much to the bottom part of like where my back connects to my butt, whatever you call that, that area. But that was the longest it's probably been in my adult life since I let my hair grow out or whatever. And so, and I always liked long hair. It's just that I've never been very good about upkeeping myself. I've always neglected myself, you know, not pampered myself and treated myself the way I should have, you know, self-care and stuff. But anyways, I never really had the time to in my adult life or nothing, and I was too lazy to admit to it in my childhood for whatever reasons or whatever. But I asked my brother to cut my hair that year, and he cut it like, I think he cut it at like my chin, at the end of my chin. It might have been at the end of my shoulders, but I think it was like at the end of my chin. He cut it off, and I wanted him to. And that was why, and I know he didn't never know this. I never told nobody this, you know. So, but that was why. I already kind of had it in the back of my mind, because I was going to doctors every 6 months anyways, and I was having mammograms and ultrasounds and, you know, all the scans and stuff like that done, you know, just scans or whatever, but mostly mammograms or whatever. And every 6 months I was doing it whenever I started having symptoms, you know, before I was diagnosed. And it wasn't making sense to me, but everybody just thought I was a dumb ASS, so, you know, so they looked over me or whatever. Anyways, that's the reason why I kind of had the feeling that I had something going on, and I just wanted to go ahead and cut my hair, you know. So I went ahead and cut my hair off then, and then whenever I was diagnosed, I don't know how long it was later, I know it was back in 2016, but like I said, every 6 months I was getting like mammograms done, and they kept telling me the same thing. I'm not going to go into this detailed story of my cancer story or whatever in the past or whatever, not today. But anyways, when it got to the point when they finally believed me and they finally diagnosed me, then that's whenever, you know, it was actually, I think it was like 2 or 3 months later from what I remember. That's whenever I had my first chemo treatment. Because I know from my experience, once you're diagnosed with something like that, you start getting in the mood where, because you obviously think you're dying, and you obviously get in the mood where you get in all kinds of different moods, but, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this that's gone through it or whatever. You want to speed things up, you know, you want to, and so the doctors wasn't doing things fast enough at that point in time for me, and so that's another reason why too, even before I was diagnosed, I started going to different doctors that wasn't so-called locally for me to get mammograms and stuff done. But that's a story for a different day. Anyways, though, so I quit going to the place that diagnosed me finally with cancer, but they had made me an appointment to get chemotherapy at the other place that was local to me, and I'm not going to go into those stories right now on this video, like I said, and name names or nothing like that, or nothing on this video. I'm trying not to anyways. But anyways, so I had my first chemo treatment, like, I think it was like 2 or 3 months later after I was finally diagnosed. And then 13 days is what it seems like it took me after I had my first chemo treatment. That's when my hair started, like, my head started getting real itchy, real sensitive. Just, I didn't want it to be touched. It was so sensitive. It hurt so bad, and it itched so bad, and it was making big sores on my head, and it just felt like your skin was, or it did me anyways, it felt like my skin was crawling. And I just wanted to scratch it and itch at it and dig at it all the time, the little sores and holes in my head. And I couldn't wear wigs because the wigs would itch me to death. I got to the point after I had lost my hair, I got to the point where I wouldn't wear wigs. I got comfortable enough that I didn't care, and so I would go around bald. You know, if anything, I would put like a boggin on. Sometimes I would wear boggins, but hardly ever would I wear like turbans or wigs or anything like that, you know, because it just, it wasn't comfortable for me at all. So anyways, like I said, my hair was probably about chin length back then, because I had my brother cut it off like months ahead of time, because I knew something was up, and he did it for me, and I appreciate him doing that. Anyways, so 13 days later, when my hair, you could like rub on your hair and rub across your head, and your hair would come out in big gobs, you know. That's how it was for me. And so once it got to that point, and it was so tender and stuff, the way it made my head feel, and it hurt me so bad. So once it got to that point, I knew I needed to just go ahead and cut it off, you know, because it was coming out in gobs, and there was places in my hair, like gaps in my hair where hair was missing and different things. And so I had to get to the point where I wanted to cut it, you know. So I didn't tell nobody. One time I just went into the bathroom and I just tried to cut, and that was the first time I'd ever cut my hair, you know. So I went into the bathroom myself, and I started just gradually taking scissors to it and just cutting it off, you know. Like I said, it was chin length. And so, but it was real thick and full back then. I always had, growing up, I always had real coarse, really frizzy, coarse, thick, full hair. I mean, it was always, and my hair's always been like a chameleon, just like how my eyes are, you know, where I have hazel eyes and stuff. They change color all the time, just like my hair. My hair's always done it naturally. Yes, I did used to dye my hair, have my hair highlighted at different points in my life, but that was whenever I was like, I think the last time I dyed my hair or had it highlighted or had anything put on my hair was probably back in like 2010 or 2011 or 2012 or something like that. So, you know, it's been a long time, you guys. And like I said, I'm just naturally, my hair's always been like that. It's never been just like, it's whatever it wants to be, you know, whatever hair color. It's according on, you know, if I go out in the sun a lot or whatever, if it gets lighter or whatever, or darker or whatever, you know. But, so anyways, I cut my hair off, probably like a boy hairstyle, like a mushroom cut, I guess you would call it, or something. So I first cut it off short like that. And then I went and showed my girls, and they was like laughing at me because they was real young and stuff back then. My youngest one was like 7 years old, and then I think my oldest one was about maybe like 5 years old or something. Or not 5 years old, I meant 10 years old, because they're 5 years apart. So I don't know. I think they were somewhere, or maybe 12. I can't remember. They're somewhere around those ages when that happened back then. But anyways, and so they was laughing at me and stuff, you know. But, and that's okay, whatever. You know, they're children, and it is what it was or whatever. And so after I did that, I started shaving off my hair on one side of my head. And I just kept cutting it and cutting it and cutting it, you know. But I never did like do a mohawk or nothing like that. I kind of wish I had done a mohawk, you know, but I never did do like a mohawk or nothing. I just like, pretty much I was just like cutting on it, you know, and shaving it and stuff. Whenever it got too short to cut, I started shaving it and stuff. And then I finally shaved it bald. But I will say this, whenever I had to do my hair like that, after it was over with, I cried more at the time. I cried more over losing my hair as a female than what I did losing my breast at the time, you know. Well, since then, obviously, you know, I've cried on losing my breast in other circumstances or whatever, you know. It is what it is. But at the time, I cried more whenever I was cutting my hair, you know, because like I said, I've always been a lover of long hair, especially on females, and I'm a female, so I want to have long hair. And obviously, after I had chemo, which I knew it would happen, they warned me about it and stuff, but I knew my hair would change again, you know, the texture and stuff. And it has. My hair is not very thick at all. It's very, very thin. It's not thick at all like it used to be. I mean, I want to keep what hair I have. That's why I'm so, I guess, protective now over my hair. I don't want to lose my hair again. That's a very tragic thing for a female. And like I said, it was more tragic for me to lose my hair at the time than what it was for me to lose my breast. At the time, I cried for a long time, for days afterwards, and I was embarrassed, and I had to develop confidence and stuff, you know, for myself, but more so for, not that for me, but for my daughters at the time, where they were so young, and I didn't want them to be unconfident about things, you know. I wanted them to be confident about things and not feel insecure and all the negative thoughts and feelings that I had, you know, pretty much all my life and stuff. So I had to work myself up to that stuff, you guys. And it was a hard thing to do, and it still is, you know. But even like myself having this YouTube channel and whatever I throw out here on the YouTube or whatever, it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually, I've mostly been all my life a very shy person, even though I don't come off as that maybe or whatever. And I've had a really low self-esteem most of my life for different reasons, and so it's hard putting yourself, no matter what, out on a social media out to the whole world, and you can't take it back once it's out there, you know. So, but I want to be a part of it, and it is what it is. And at the same time, like, there's good and bad to everything. I mean, there's good and bad to YouTube too, you know. There's good and bad to me having a YouTube channel, just like there is for anyone else or whatever. But anyways, that's whenever I cut my hair. And then I've had it, I'm not going to finish on this video and go into the stories or whatever, the storyline of it, but I've never dyed my hair since I had chemo. And I had breast cancer back in 2016, and that's whenever, 2016 and 2017, whenever I was on chemos. I had to have 2 different types. I'll tell that story for a different day, but not today, guys. And then I have cut my hair since then, since I had chemo, and it growed out different ways or whatever for different reasons. I'll talk about that too a different time. But right now, I think the last time I cut my hair since I've been letting it grow out this time is, I'm not positive, I could be wrong, but I think it was in the latter part of 2023, because I had seizures. I started having seizures in the spring of 2023, And that's why I'm on seizure medication, you guys. But anyways, and I'll have to do my seizure story for a different day sometime too, maybe. But anyways, I think that was the last time I cut my hair. I think. Like I said, I'm not positive. So I've been trying to let my hair grow out since probably, I might be wrong, it might have been 2024, but I know it was after I had seizures was the last time I cut my hair, you know, because I had to cut my hair after I had seizures because I was in the hospital bed for so long, and my hair got matted up like it is now. But I'm hoping I can brush it, take it slow and brush through it once I slowly start recovering from this procedure that I had done or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that's how long it's been taking me to grow my hair out to the length it is now. And even before I even had cancer back in 2016, or whenever I was diagnosed with cancer and stuff, my hair was always, I don't know if it was because I didn't have the right nutrients or whatever that I needed or whatever, or if it was just because of genetics, or I don't know how you clarify that or whatever. But my hair was always, it took forever for my hair to grow out. My hair grows out so slow, and I hate that. Even whenever it was thick and long, you know, and coarse and frizzy and fuzzy or whatever, my hair would take so long to grow out. So that's why I'm trying to like research, and I care so much about it, to be honest with you all. And I'll share that, like that video on what kind of shampoos whenever I'm testing stuff and learning about things with my hair. It's because it's something I have right now left in my body, my vessel, that I can hold on to, that I actually value. You know, because obviously I don't have my boobs no more. And like I said, that's a story for a different day. And yeah, obviously I wish I had my boobs, but I don't, you know, so it is what it is. But I'm just grateful and thankful that I have finally found someone, even though we're just talking, or you want to call us boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever, long distantly or whatever. I'm just grateful and thankful that it appears that I have found someone who truly loves me for whatever reasons, all the good reasons or whatever, and loves me for who I am or whatever, and not what I have or whatever. She truly loves me. That's what it feels like anyways, and I'm just thankful and grateful for that. But that's why I'm trying different things to learn about taking care of my hair now, that in my old age, because I want my hair to be long and healthy, you know, and stuff, and I want it to grow faster, grow out faster and stuff. So anyways, guys, that's what I was telling you all that story. Sorry for going all over the place and rambling on. Like I said before, that's just how I am whenever I don't have a piece of paper or a script to read in front of me to stay focused. I've been like this all my life. But anyways, here is another Rose of Sharon tree over here at my dad's yard. And it looks like it has white, which I love, and the pink in it mixed together. It's just growing here. I'm sure it just popped up beside this thing here, this other tree. Whenever I was a little girl, there used to be Rose of Sharon trees growing all up and down, I don't know who that is, but growing all up and down that driveway there. I'm gonna walk out here because I don't know who that is, and I'm recording. They're probably coming over here to my dad's anyways. Probably somebody wanting to buy vegetables or something, maybe, I don't know. Or have some tractor work done or something. I have no clue. Oh, never mind. I think I know who that is. I think that's one of my cousins. I think they're gonna work on that side by side out there. for my mom and my dad. Hey. But yeah, that's who it is. But yeah, there's Chip. That's my nephew's cats. You guys, we're already at the 30-minute mark. I'm sorry this video has took all day long and stuff. But I'm gonna finish walking around the yard, however long that takes me, my dad's yard back to my yard around the pond, to end this video. Sorry this has been another random ranting video, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I still don't have too much energy, but I do have a little bit more energy than what I had yesterday, and I know I'm gonna get better. I can already tell that I'm starting to slowly but surely get better and stuff. I'm not bleeding as bad as I was bleeding and stuff. It is hurting. I ain't gonna lie, I'm still hurting whenever I'm using the bathroom. I'm trying not to strain. Like I said, I'm taking the Dulcolax to help soften up my stuff where I'm having to take medication for the pain and stuff so I don't get constipated. And I'm just basically, I'll tell you what I've been living off of as far as food goes, mostly for the most part, ever since I had the surgery done. And I'm talking about the hemorrhoid surgery for those of you who don't know and want to know or whatever. But it's life. Life happens for different reasons. But anyways, I don't know what these flowers are, but they're pretty. I like them. They look tropical looking. I like tropical looking stuff. Anyways, though, now I'm taking the ibuprofen that the doctor prescribed me for the pain and stuff. Whew, it's hot. So humid out here. So humid. Those are pretty little wildflowers. The seasons are starting to change. Summer's starting to come to an end. Oh yeah, back to what I've been eating. I've been eating those microwavable, you know, the little mashed potatoes that you microwave. I've been eating those like a child would eat, because I just don't feel like cooking or cleaning or moving or doing nothing right now, to be honest. And so I have been kind of lazy and taking it easy as I can and stuff. And whenever I get done microwaving them, I usually been eating about 2 of them a day. And those things ain't cheap. They're not cheap at all. But it's hard for me to do everything else, like keeping the house in order, and I'm just not able to right now. I hope by next week I'll be more able to clean on the house and do what I need to do, you know, as far as bending over, because bending over still hurts me right now, and like lifting things, pretty much anything still bothers me right now. And I'm sorry for complaining so much to you guys, but for those of you who might actually have to go through this or want to know, I'm just informing you the best of my ability or whatever. But once I get done getting those out of the microwave and stuff, I think Ethan's over there. What? I think Ethan's over there at Debbie's. Sorry about that, you guys. I had to tell my dad that my cousin was over there to work on that side by side or whatever. Anyways, and I don't edit my videos, y'all, so y'all get to hear and see everything as I'm recording or whatever. It is what it is. I'll probably never edit my videos. But he might have left already, I don't know. But anyways, after I get done microwaving those out of the microwave, what I've been doing is I've been putting garlic salt and just pepper and a little bit, like a half of a thing, like how do you measure that, or how do you say that, like what you would probably put on a pancake size, on the top of a pancake size serving into the mashed potatoes of butter. And that's what I've been mixing together, and then I add a little bit more water usually because I don't like it dry. I like it more wet, like, but I don't like it like liquidy or like soup or nothing. But that's what I've been eating mostly, is those mashed potatoes like that and stuff. And then drinking orange juice and water mostly. I wish I had some Sprite, but I ran out of Sprite because obviously right now my income is really low, and the way the economy is nowadays and stuff, my income right now doesn't always last to the end of the month. It barely lasts to the beginning of the month, especially too with my bills I have to pay, you know. And then too, I'm taking care of my daughters, and you know, they're a teenager and an adult daughter, and you know, us bigger people, we like to eat and drink and stuff, you know, and so we all share the same stuff, and I don't try to deprive anyone from nothing, you know. So whatever I have is theirs too, you know. So that's why I've already ran out of Sprite. But obviously I would prefer, even though I know it's not healthy for you, I'm not stupid, I wasn't born yesterday, but I like to drink pop every now and then, you know, just like I like to drink coffee or whatever, frappuccinos or whatever every now and then, you know. I like to eat snacks and stuff that's not healthy and stuff for you every now and then, you know. I'm not stupid, I know it's not healthy for you. I do try to eat healthy the best I can with my income. It's just, it's really hard to basically eat it all in this economy with any income or whatever. And I do live in a place that is like, they call these areas like food deserts where I live at, because yes, we have a Walmart that's local to me, but our Walmart does not have like fresh produce. They have like 2 aisles that has like the coolers or whatever you want to call it in it, and basically they have eggs, butter, and bacon, you know, frozen biscuits or something like that. And then all the other shelves are like dry goods and stuff. They don't have like fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. Or they really don't even have meats and stuff like that, you know, in the grocery store that's near me, my Walmart or whatever. And the one that's not local to me, that's 30 minutes away from me, in Perry County, Hazard, Kentucky. You guys, I don't have the means and the transportation all the time to like go places and do things and just go as I please or whatever, you know. I have to organize things, and I have to know in advance and stuff, you know. I can't just go pick up, and especially the way I feel right now, I can't get out, and I'm barely able to like walk around like I'm walking around right now. I can't go out and go to Walmart or any other places and do like orders or anything. It's not that I'm not grateful for nothing, it's just that I can't do that stuff, you guys. And I do live in one of those zones that it's like a food desert around here. There's not a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. And then even unless if you grow it on your own, and my parents do raise like a garden and stuff, that season is almost over with, where summer's almost coming to an end or whatever. But and they sell too at the local farmers market. But unless if you do that, produce is not easy to get around here where I live at. You know, it's not in abundance, you know, unless if you had all kinds of means, money, and help, and you was able to, you know, in this seasons. There's only like 6 months out of the year or something like that you can do like garden seasonings in and stuff. But that's not such an easy task for somebody like me to do. And here's my dad's. Well, this was actually my oldest daughter's chickens, but I guess you can say they're my dad's. Now he takes care of them. She never comes out here and takes care of them. But here's her Bainies. She got them for her birthday a couple years ago. That's what she wanted. And then here's all the other roosters and stuff that my dad has. A lot of these roosters and stuff, some of them, I don't know if there's any still living or not, but back in 2021, I had a cousin that lives up in that direction, up in that place called Blair Branch, up in that holler, and he passed away. And he had all kinds of wild chickens. I think they were fighting chickens, but I don't know the specific name for them or anything. But anyways, my dad went up there and caught a bunch of them and brought them down here. So I'm sure some of them are from those, you know, gaming chickens or whatever. And then a mixture of a variety of other chickens and stuff that he's had over the years, I'm sure. There's a squirrel back here. Let me see if I can get close to it. This is pretty. They look like little miniature, little morning glories, but I know they're not. So pretty. Little baby ditties. Those are Bainey ditties. They're But yeah, we have like one grocery store in our county that I live in that it's like the nicest grocery store, and it's called Food City. And they have like a variety of items and vegetables and fresh produce and stuff like that, and things that you can't normally get around here, but it's hard to get and stuff. But it's not like I mean, they do give you a discount if you have a discount card, but I've never signed up for it or not, and I need to. I just seems like I never make the time to do stuff or whatever. Anyways, and you do get a lot discounted if you shop there and stuff at that store, you know, using your discount and stuff. And I do like this store, but it's just expensive. Everything's expensive. Living is expensive. I mean, I would rather be alive than the other, but nowadays life, just breathing is expensive nowadays, right now. So it is what it is. I don't know where that squirrel went to. Must have went up in the weeds or whatever. I must have missed it. Everything's overgrown. I'm sorry, this is going to be a long one, so it'll probably take me a long time to upload this one. Like I said, though, I do appreciate those of you who actually watch my videos and still continue to support me for whatever reason. I really do appreciate y'all. There's the school bus. My nephews be getting off the school bus. I take y'all out here. Like I said, it's the end of the garden season. What do they call that? What do they call that in August when it's like coming to an end of the summer? Do they call that Midsummer's Night's Dream? Do they still call it that? Is that still a thing? Or do they call it something different nowadays? Do they call it, I guess they're trying to turn it into, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they're trying to call it like Summerween or something now. Which I'm not going to lie to you guys. I love Halloween. I love horror stuff. I love autumn. I love the fall. The fall is my favorite time of the year. I love all the burr months. Those are my favorite months of the year. And so, and Thanksgiving used to probably be my favorite holiday. Probably was Thanksgiving. I don't know what my favorite holiday would be now. And yeah, it's because I like to eat too. I'm a fatty. But I don't know. I just like this time. I like the time of the year when the leaves change their colors. Everything cools down to around the 70s. And just the wind's slightly blowing. And I just like that time of year. I like the time of year when you can see the change and stuff dying off, all the bugs. All the bugs dying off, and mosquitoes and insects dying off, not biting the crap out of you like they do me. And so I like that time of year. Here's what's left of the sunflowers and the beans. But yeah, I think they're trying to call it summerween now, aren't they? Instead of, I think it used to be called, I might be wrong, guys. I have no clue what I'm talking about. But I think they used to call it Midsummer's Night's Dream, didn't they? Whenever it was in August and summer was coming to an end. It's pretty sunflower. I love sunflowers. I love all flowers. I love all flowers. I don't really have a favorite flower. I like peonies too. Here's another big one. I can't reach up there high enough to show you its face. But yeah, I think for the past few years now, and I could be wrong, I think they're trying to call Midsummer's Night's Dream. And no, I've never read that book. I'm not much of a reader. I wish I was. My boyfriend is. He loves to read. I love that about him. But anyways, I've probably only read, honestly, maybe, well, I don't know. I don't even think I finished reading them all. But really, to be honest with y'all, the first books I ever read was, all the way through, was the Harry Potter's books series or whatever. That was the first books I ever read. Some bugs on those beans. But I don't think I've read like the last books of the Harry Potters. I don't remember where I left off at. I think it was like on the 7th book. I guess it was about the time when they was getting the last battle. I think I finished reading the books up until when they had the battle with Voldemort, and then it like jumped, and Harry and Hermione, or not Harry and Hermione, what was the little girl's name? The little sister, Ron's sister, that's Ginny, I think was her name, like on Forrest Gump, Ginny. But anyways, I think that was the last book I read of the Harry Potter series, was when they had that battle, and then Harry and Voldemort, and then it does like a jump, and it shows them in the future or something, from what I remember. It's been forever ago, probably since they first came out, since I first or last read them or whatever. But I think Harry ends up with Ginny, and Ron ends up with Hermione, and they get married or something. And then it like shows them having, or talks about them having kids and getting their kids on the train or whatever and sending them off to Hogwarts. And so that was the last book series of Harry Potter that I ever read. So I couldn't tell you anything about anything like that. This is a weeping willow tree, in case if some of y'all are wondering. And this right here vine that's growing up it is the wisteria vine that blooms out in the spring. Ooh, it's so humid, so hot. And honestly, I've only read like a handful of books besides the Harry Potter ones. I don't even remember all the books I read, but it wasn't many. It was like those little books like in middle school or something. But I really didn't actually read them until I was out of high school. No, that's pathetic. I just never did have the love for reading. I wish I did, but I don't. Hopefully I can develop it in the future, I guess. But like those Judy Blume books that a lot of times in like grade school and middle schools and stuff, they'll have you read or something when you're going to school. I read a few of those, or like the love story type books or whatever, romance books. And I think I did actually read, because I've always been a fan. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings Hobbit lover. So I think I did actually read I know I read the Lord of the Rings books, but I don't think I've read so obviously right now I'm a slow, bad reader, and I have troubles with my speech and different things, you know, but whatever. Anyways, though, I think I read the Hobbit book, but I did it in the comic book form of it. Like it was a huge comic book from what I remember. So basically I looked up the pictures and read the book or whatever. I really do wish that I had a love for reading, but I've never had that love for reading. I've always loved the ideal, or the romanticized ideal, of having like my own library. Like ever since the Beauty and the Beast Disney movie came out with Belle and the Beast, that's always been one of my favorite movies too. I've always fantasized about having my own little library, you know, in a house or whatever. I still want that. And, you know, if me and my boyfriend, or whatever you want to call him, if me and him work out, hopefully we do in the future. This is a banana tree, those of you who want to know. This is about how big they get before it starts getting cold and the season starts to change, because around here in Kentucky, you know, I do think we live in a place that's kind of like a rainforest, like type weather and stuff where we live at. But I guess it's not tropical enough or hot enough that we can get, because it don't happen all year round. We can't get stuff like these banana trees to actually bloom out bananas on them and grow taller than this right here, you know, before the season ends. Or like we can't have like palm trees, like 100 feet tall palm trees around here where I live at, you know, because of the climate or whatever. But, you know, I don't know that for sure. That's just what I think, you guys. But anyways, you know, Kentucky, there is a place in Kentucky, and I don't know the name of it, so I'm not going to tell you guys for sure. Y'all can look it up or whatever. But there is actually a place in Kentucky. It's not near me though. It's more like central and western, I think. And I think this took place probably maybe about, we'll say about 150, 250 years ago. Here's some little Tommy toes. Here's what little Tommy toes look like. I'm gonna pull them off and put it in my mouth and eat it. Little Tommy toe. That's good. Just a little Tommy toe. But yeah, about 150, 250 years ago or so, I don't know. From my understanding, there's some place in Kentucky, probably like mid-central western Kentucky, some area, and I don't know what county, but there used to be a place that had bigger palm trees. I don't know the type of palm tree they were, but they have bigger palm trees than probably what you would find out west or in tropical climates and stuff. So there is a really realistic situation where palm trees might be coming back to Kentucky in that area soon because of the climate changes and stuff, you know. But eat me another Tommy toe. Those are good. I'm kind of wiping it off a little bit, guys, with my fingers. And yeah, I'm shaking a little bit because I'm so weak and stuff. But I'm not worried about the dirt and the bugs because the way I look at it, it's untelling how much crap and junk that I already eat, you know, already all my life. So this sure ain't gonna hurt me. That looks like a little, I don't know, like a dinosaur with wings or something. Or maybe like a little dragon with wings, that cloud. I love summer tomatoes. I don't like to eat tomatoes like normal round tomatoes. The only type of tomatoes I like to eat in the wintertime and, you know, after the season's over with is those little Tommy toes, or I don't know what they're called. The little bitty tomatoes. That's the only ones I like to eat any other time of the year. But this when it's still summer like this, I like to get these off of the vine like this and just eat them. I could get those if I wanted them. So, and get these down here. They're a little bit more redder. And I'll just eat them off the vine. I mean, obviously, I wish I had some salt, but I don't have no salt other than the salt that I'm sweating. And I am sweating. There's Chill. There's another one that's really starting to rot too, and it's ripe. I'll try to get it. Well, I guess I'll leave it for now. There's a bunch of them right through there. It's ripened up. This one kind of looks like a purple looking color, or it might be rotten and I can't tell because of the sun. But yeah, there's a place in mid-central Kentucky, out in western Kentucky, that used to have palm trees. I'm talking like the 100 feet, 200 feet tall palm trees that used to be native in that area. And no, that's not near me. Anything in that direction is about an hour and a half at least to 2 hours, 3 hours away from me. So it's not near me, guys. But eat me another Tommy toe. I've never seen like palm trees before that tall. I have seen palm trees before, but probably the tallest palm trees I've ever seen was probably in South Carolina. I think at Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know. I think it was back in like 2021, 22, 23, somewhere on there. And I went on a trip, a bus trip. They used to be a bus touring trip company close by to me. And I went on a trip with my mom and my cousin and my aunt and my other cousin on a different side. And what is this? Walnuts? I think it's walnuts. I think it comes off of that tree. I think both of those are the same type of trees. I can't zoom in right now because my hand's full with the Tommy toes. But there's some, whatever these are, walnuts. Are they walnuts or are they chestnuts? I don't know, my nuts. I like nuts. I like all nuts. But I don't know. Here's another one. Let me see if it... Nope. This one here's rotted looking like. No, it still won't open. There's another one. Still won't open. I don't know. I just know those are the ones that hurt your feet. Whenever the shell comes off of them, they're the ones that have the little spiky things that hurt your feet. You know. And here's what the crust, the outside of them looks like when they're rotting. There's moss in there. But no, I think the tallest palm tree I ever did see probably was only like maybe 5 or 6 feet tall, maybe 8 feet at the most. Wasn't very tall. So in the future, I'm really hoping that I'll be able to see like what I've always wanted to see. You know, like the tropical looking postcard palm trees someday in the future, hopefully, you know, whenever I go out west. Because here's one of the shells that's been broken open. Because the guy I'm talking to lives and works close by to an area that has palm trees, but I don't know if it's that type of palm trees. I don't think it's specifically that type of palm tree, but I think there are different species of palm trees. The Native Americans that lived out in those areas like 100 or 200 years ago or whatever was probably the first people who took over the areas and named them what they are, I guess. I don't know how it works. But, so I'm sure they're not like the type that I'm thinking of that has coconuts, you know, like postcard tropical beach type palm trees. But I think pumpkin trees, I'm not sure, but I think, doesn't like all palm trees grow coconuts eventually? I think they are able to or something. I'm not sure. I'm getting so hot too, guys. I'm rock levels rambling like I always do about nothing. Sorry if I'm boring y'all. Here's the nut that comes out of the shell of these little things here. That's what that looks like when they're opened up. And there's the trees. I like them trees too, just because they, even though they're not, they make me think they look tropical looking too, because they have like the little fan like things to them. But them things right there, the little spikes, not the shell, but the spikes, I can't see none of the spikes right now. You couldn't walk on them. They would hurt your feet so bad. Getting them in your feet. Okay, I'm gonna get me another one of these Tommy Toes. Hey, those look like Tommy Toes too, but I know they're not. They're probably something poisonous. Those little red berries. The gardening's starting to come to an end, just like summer is. They usually try to do like the farmers markets around here though until like sometimes they can even push it up until like the second week in November. But sometimes they usually end it in October. Because people do grow like pumpkins and squash and stuff like that too for the fall and stuff around here. Usually the gardening season around here is anywhere from February. People usually plant peas in February, or at least till their gardens and stuff. And then it's according on weather conditions too, you know, whether it's snowing or raining and stuff like that. But and sometimes we do get snow and rain in both of those times of the year. Here lately, it seems like for the past 5 years or so, that's when we start getting our winter like conditions, is in after the end of December, in January and February, and on up into March, you know, usually seems like around here for the past 5 years or so. And up until this year, we had been getting, that's why I always call this place like a rainforest, excuse me, because we've always had the high humidities here. It's always been terrible. It just keeps getting worse. That's why I say we have weather like Florida. I know we really don't have as hot of weather as what Florida is, but I'd say we had pretty close to it as far as the rain, how it can be sunny and then all of a sudden pour down the rain. And also with the humidity, it's just like how Florida does or whatever. But anyways, but what I'm saying is used to, and I'd say it was about 10 years ago or so, it seemed like that's all it ever did, was like, even in the winter time, like in December, from December all through the spring and all summer long, mostly, that's all it ever would do, like up until this past year or whatever. All it would mostly do is rain all the time, even in the fall, you know, until like late November. Then it would start all over again in December and rain it, because it would be like raining, instead of having snow on Christmas, it would be like pouring down the rain on Christmas, you know, and stuff. It had been like that for like 10 years or so, up until this spring and this summer. This has been a really hot, humid, drought type summer for the most part, other than, like I said, the past 10 years or so ago. And we probably haven't had like snowy type weather, like a ton of snow, heavy snows and stuff like that. Probably not for about 20 years or so. Like, I'm talking days worth of snow where it gets like 2 feet tall and more in some places or whatever. We haven't had that type of weather in probably about 20 years. I would say close to about 20 years. I mean, we do get snow, but it's not like as common as it used to be or whatever, is what I'm trying to say. It is beautiful skies today. Gorgeous skies. I'm gonna eat me another Tommy Toe. There's the juice on my finger from that one. My hair is so sweaty. Now I need to go take me another bath, and I don't feel like it and don't want to. And I stink so bad. I just want to be able to brush through my hair and get enough energy to do so. Give me another Tommy Toe. This is my last one. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I think that little birdhouse is like that because I think there's this place in Tennessee and I've never been to it. I'd like to go to it sometime, but I've never been. Anyways, I forgot what the name of that place is. And I know some of y'all probably will know what I'm talking about. But they do these little birdhouses. It's real well known for having little birdhouses all over the place at that place in Tennessee. I can't think of the name of it right now, and it's too hot for me to think things through right now as I'm out here burning up, sweating. But what is the name of that place? They have all these little red, like, wooden birdhouses for tourism. I can't think of the name of that place. I want to think it says something like, I see something, I see something is the name of that area. It's like a little tourism spot. And they have a bunch of birdhouses, little red birdhouses, and I'm sure that's where they got that one from. I know the neighbor, he used to go to that place a lot with his wife before he passed away. And before my mom and dad bought that trailer. And he used to have one of those little birdhouses over there. I want to say it, but I'm probably wrong. I think it's like, I see Red Rock, maybe, or something is the name of that place in Tennessee. I could be wrong. I don't know, guys. It's too hot for me to think and function right now. I am burning up. I am sweating like crazy. It's so hot. I want to go to a place and live where it's in the 70s or the upper 60s all year long. I want to go to a place that's fall and the leaves never change their colors. They're always colorful. Everything's always in bloom. I know that place don't exist though. That's where I want to be. Because I don't like the heat. I hate the humidity. I hate bugs. I hate the mosquitoes. I hate being cold anymore now that I'm older. I don't like to be cold. I like the snow. I think it's beautiful. But I'd be happy with one snow on Christmas morning and it melt by the end of the night. You know, one deep, you know, shelter in place snow, 3 foot snow, you know, that morning, and it, you know, melt off by the night or whatever. That's what I would be happy with. Or I would be happy living in a place that you could see the snow tops all year long. And I know there's places like that out west. There's a place out west where my boyfriend lives that he works at, that it's like that, I think. You know, pretty much all year long you can see a little bit of snow on the mountaintops all year long, you know. So that wouldn't be too bad. But, you know, from what I can tell, from what I've seen so far, from watching videos, other people's videos on YouTube. And no, my boyfriend is not on YouTube, you guys. Sorry. I'm not going to tell. Even if I ever was to, me and him was to not work out and I was to move on and get a different boyfriend or a different relationship, you all, I am never going to share who I am dating or marrying or talking to or whatever my relationship status is I'm not ever going to tell you that person's name or who that person is to none of these people, none of you people, no matter how close I am to you or how much I like you or whatever on YouTube. I'm just not, I'm keeping that information under lock and key, just like how Dolly Parton did her husband. I'm keeping that under lock and key. You know, that's only something that I'm gonna know. I'm not gonna share it to you guys. Sorry. But, and I have to be like that, you all. I have to be like that for certain reasons and stuff too. And I'm sure some of y'all can understand why and stuff. And some of y'all do know why, you know, or whatever. The UPS man's coming up the road. I better get out of the way. I don't really have anywhere else to stand off out of the road at. Hey. But, I have to protect him, and I have to protect myself, and I have to protect my children. I have to protect my family members. I have to protect whatever neighborhood I'm living in and the people around it in the area. I have to protect my boyfriend's family members, you know? So there's reasons why you don't tell ever any of that information and let everybody know every single thing about you, you know, on social medias or the internet or whatever. There's reasons why you have to do things like that. And the reason why I say I'm going to be like Dolly Parton is because Dolly Parton never did show her who her husband was. And most people didn't even know who her husband was or nothing like that until he passed away. So I don't ever plan on sharing any of that information with any of y'all ever. You know, even if I'm with someone else besides the guy I'm talking to now and dating now, I don't ever plan on sharing that information to nobody. And I hope y'all can be respectful and understand why. You know, I'll just say this right now, as far as my relationship status goes. There's little violets at my toes in the crack of the sidewalk or whatever, blacktop. As far as my relationship status goes, you guys, I have been talking to a guy, a man, since, and I'm 44 years old. He's younger than me, but he's not that much younger than me. He's only like a couple of years or a few years younger than me. I've been talking to him since December 10th of 2025. And yeah, I made him off of my YouTube channel, but he does not have YouTube. He does not watch my YouTube videos. He does not have the time to do that, you know, and I understand that. And it's okay. I'm okay with that, you guys. But anyways, and like I said, he's never going to be on none of my YouTube videos. I'm going to try my best to keep him